everyone, welcome back to Animal Wonders. I'm Jessie, and this is Kemosabe, the prehensile-tailed porcupine. Kemosabe came to Animal Wonders in 2010 when he was just 2 years old, and his viral videos make him one of our most beloved internet celebrities that we have here. I just love this guy, and today I wanted to share that love in the form of a compilation that's all about this adorable, one-toothed old man. You good? Now, Kemosabe is a nocturnal animal, which means that he sleeps during the day and he's most active at night. And since we usually film these videos during the day, you don't really get to see what Kemo gets up to when he's fully awake and ready for adventure. So in this first video, I give you a sneak peek into what it's like hanging out with Kemosabe when most of the other animals are asleep. Hi, bud! Do you want to come hang out with us? We've had a lot of people asking about Kemosabe lately, and since we're not able to get him out in front of audiences right now, I'd really like to share his awesomeness with you. I have some of his favorite foods here. This is soft pears and bananas. Yeah, it's good. Gosh, your eyeballs move so much when you eat. It's so weird. Yeah, it's good. Kemosabe is naturally very good at maneuvering around in trees, so we like to make sure he has plenty of different kinds of branches so he never gets bored. I do like to spend time at night with him, letting him get out and roam around, play with different kinds of toys, climb on things, smell things. I think that's really important for his well-being. One of my favorite things to see is his little waddle as he goes down the hallway. Kemosabe has enjoyed interacting with the chinchillas, Cheerio especially. They like to get up close and kind of touch noses and smell each other out. The first time he did it, I was a little bit nervous, so I watched very closely to make sure neither of them were hurting each other, and actually they interact really well. I love that Kemosabe's huge nose is his primary sense of discovering the world, but his favorite thing to do is to walk up to something and lick it. Oh, and I guess he's gonna lick that too. Gotta make sure you lick it, huh, buddy? So Kemosabe is doing what he normally does every night. This is basically his morning. And so when I see him late at night, I give him his food and he starts chowing down. So in the evening, I prepare his diet, and this is a bunch of different kinds of food kind of steamed and mushed together, so it creates an easily eatable thing for him. When we first got Kemosabe, he still had all of his teeth, and he really enjoyed chewing through things for enrichment. So we gave him cardboard boxes and bags, and we hid the food inside it, and he loved chewing through them. Now that he only has one tooth and he can't chew through things, it's been a fun challenge finding new ways to enrich him. And these night hangouts are some of my favorite. Kemosabe is one of those beings that just makes you happy when you're around him. I remember when we first got him, I would walk into the room and be in disbelief that he was there and alive and just something in this world. He's just so special, and I feel so honored to be able to care for him and then share him with others. When I get to share Kemosabe with audiences, I love watching their eyes light up and seeing just a million questions racing through their mind. That's what does it for me, being able to be that catalyst to spark curiosity. I mean, it's Kemosabe and the other animals that are the stars of the show. I just get to take care of them and let them be seen. And I'm just really happy to be on this journey with them. Your tooth is so long right now. You are due for a tooth trim. Mm-hmm. Yes, you are. Boop. Well, Kemosabe, thank you for being you. That's all I could ever ask of you because you are perfect. Hanging out with Kemosabe is always an adventure. I love watching him explore because you never know what he's going to lick next. Now, I know a lot of you love Kemosabe, and over the years, you've sent me lots of good questions about this amazing guy. In this next video, I sat down with Kemosabe to answer your questions about him, like, do porcupines ever stick themselves with their own quills? All right, now that we have Kemosabe out, let's answer a couple questions. First one comes from Chris at Clemens5505. He asks, how did Kemosabe end up at Animal Wonders? Well, in 2010, a friend of mine that worked at a zoo in Nevada asked if we wanted to take in a porcupine that they no longer could house at their zoo. At first, we said no for a lot of different reasons, but She kept asking and eventually convinced us to give him a try. So on March 8th, 2010, Kemosabe arrived at Animal Wonders and made himself at home in his tree fort. Bobby Buck asks, is Kemosabe a boy or a girl? That's actually a good question. He's a boy, but it's not all that easy to tell on these guys. The reason the zoo that previously owned him was looking for a new home for him was because they originally thought he was a girl. His name was Penny, and they were hoping to have babies. Leah from Ontario asks, how old is Kemosabe? We were told Kemosabe was 2 years old when we took him in, which would make him 8 years old now, and they live usually between 12 and 15 years. Caleb Merritt asks, can Kemosabe socialize with other animals despite his quills? In the wild, prehensile tail porcupines are going to be solitary, meaning they don't really socialize with others unless they're coming together to mate, or a mom taking care of her young. So if they are socializing amicably, then they're going to pull their quills tight against their body to avoid poking others. All right, next question comes from Jim at Jim Plays Games, and he asks, does Kemosabe interact with other animals at Animal Wonders? Is he friendly with them? Has he met another of his species? Kemosabe was housed with a younger male prehensile tail porcupine at the zoo that he previously was housed at, and the two got along fine. Since coming to Animal Wonders, he has socialized and tolerates other species as well. We've allowed him to meet Chili Pepper the Cavy and Sydney the Batong under close supervision. Chili Pepper and Sydney are both intensely curious about other animals and things, and Kemosabe, he was slightly interested and he did touch noses with them and then quickly became uninterested and went about his own business. Jay at J_North Coast asks, do porcupines ever stick themselves with their own quills? Yes, they actually do, but it doesn't happen very often because they have really thick skin on their feet and hands, but if they move too quickly or awkwardly or they have an itch, they can accidentally get a quill stuck in their arm or leg. Kemosabe will sometimes have a quill stuck in his wrist when I come to see him, and I usually assume that he was itching and just wasn't careful enough because it's not in there very far. He can remove them himself by rubbing it off with his hand, or I can remove it by gently pulling on it. Snappy J Dog asks, do porcupines use their quills for defense against other porcupines? What about mating? Yes, they do use their quills against other porcupines. If they get in a dispute about territory or mating, then they will try and poke each other with their quills. And yes, they sometimes get poked back. Mating is a careful procedure for porcupines. The thing is, they can control the direction of their quills. So if they're relaxed, then all their quills will lay in the same direction, kind of like the hair on a dog or a cat. When they are disturbed, they'll flex muscles on their back and sides, and their quills will stand upright or crisscross in all directions. So close interaction with others is easier when all their quills are laying flat. Elsie Dr. Derek asks, he seems to be a nervous and anxious guy. His quills are erect most of the time as opposed to his other YouTube cousins and those in zoos. Nice job, you're looking at and reading his behavior quite well. In most videos, Kemosabe is communicating that he's disturbed or on guard. And there are some other internet famous porcupines whose quills don't look the same as Kemo's. There are a few things to look at and consider when comparing Kemosabe to others. First, he's a Coendu, or Brazilian prehensile tail porcupine, and he doesn't have any fur in between his quills that might hide the upright position of them. Second, instead of raising the quills on the lower half of his back and tail like a North American porcupine or an African crested porcupine, he raises the quills on the top of his head and back to communicate. This makes it really obvious when he's on guard. And third, he wasn't hand raised like a lot of the porcupines that you see online or in zoos where keepers interact with him daily from birth. Like many of our rescued animals at Animal Wonders, Kemosabe came to us as an adult, and we've worked for years to build a strong enough trust bond that we can care for all of his needs. But as you can see, he's not completely relaxed about the whole situation, and also in these videos, there's a huge tripod which he's rocking right towards right now. Kemosabe decided to come back to his stump and munch on this banana some more. So let's keep answering some questions. Becca Lynn asks, how do you transport Kemo short distances, like from enclosure to where you're filming? You can't really pick him up or strap a harness and leash on him, so what do you do? You're right, we can't touch him. He doesn't like to be touched. We're actually told that he could be touched, like put your hand under his belly and hold his tail, but he quickly let us know that he was not gonna have any of that. So we listened to him and we found a different way to do it. We trained him to walk into a crate. And once he's in the crate, we can move him anywhere he needs to go. Stephen Nagayan asks, does Kemosabe express difficulty eating food upon his next meal as he hasn't yet established that his teeth have been suddenly shortened? For those of you that don't know, Kemosabe has been having issues with his teeth from the time he came to Animal Wonders. You can watch a bunch of videos all about the subject here, and the links are in the description below. Basically, Kemosabe needs regular teeth trims to make sure that his teeth don't overgrow. So Stephen, the answer is yes. After teeth trim, he kind of has to get used to his teeth again, and so what he'll end up doing is sucking on his piece of food until it gets all mushy. It's pretty ridiculous, but apparently effective. MX period Nayela J period at Nayela Rebirth asks, what are Kemo's favorite toys? Kemosabe really likes anything that he can maneuver with his hands or climb in or on. So he really likes wicker balls and baskets and ropes or just branches to climb on. Trisha Martin asks, can you differentiate between all of the noises that Kemosabe makes, such as for happy or sad, etc.? Kemosabe makes a lot of vocalizations, but I can group them into several types of communications. When he's surprised, he's gonna make a sharp, high-pitched When he's angry, he usually makes louder grunts, and it's usually paired with some sort of body movement. When he's grumpy or tired, he'll usually make slower, lower grunts. When he's begging for treats, he'll usually make a longer, more high-pitched nya. And when he's content, say when he receives a banana, he'll make a noise that sounds like thanks. And when he's happy with his treat, but he wants to make sure that you know it's his treat and not yours, he'll make this grumbling num 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 num. And lastly, Ronnie at Conchu asks, can you tell us something funny that he does? Early in our relationship, I was training Kemosabe and I taught him how to pull a basket up hanging from a string. So he actually pulls it up often and he uses it to beg for treats. So he pulls it up when he wants more bananas. And sometimes I'll be cleaning and I won't be paying attention and he'll pull it up and then drop it right on my head. He also likes to stand on the beams right over me as I clean and poop on my head. But it's okay because it actually just bounces right off. That was so fun. I love getting questions from you guys. So if you have any more questions about Kemosabe, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Now, at Animal Wonders, it's our mission to take care of displaced exotic animals and non-releasable wildlife. And when those animals start having medical issues, it's our job to find out what's wrong and how we can help. In this next video, I take you behind the scenes with me during a visit to the vet to find out why Kemosabe was having a mysterious cough. You all know Kemosabe the porcupine, right? He is the cutest and most bizarre, well, he's like, and he's pretty awesome. Well, a few months ago, I heard him make a new sound, a deep coughing noise that I'd never heard him make before. I was hoping it was just a one-time thing, nothing to worry about, but I did keep a closer ear on him just in case. A week later, he did it again, and then again. It was hard to catch because he didn't do it regularly, but it was enough to make me concerned. I called our vet, Dr. Card, to get her opinion. She asked about his appetite, his activity level, and his overall behavior, all of which were normal. So I got a weight on him, which also showed he was a normal weight. With all those things looking good, we decided to just let him be and watch for change in frequency or other signs of illness. Now, the reason we wouldn't want to rush into getting him checked out ASAP is because it's very stressful and it can be risky taking an older exotic animal into the vet clinic. It's not something that should be done on a whim. And Kemosabe hates going to the vet. The last time we had to take him was in 2012 when we removed an infected incisor. He was so upset by it that he refused to go back into his crate for 2 months. Well, you know where the story's going, right? Kemosabe's cough increased and he added a bit of a sneeze as well. So I decided it was time to take him into the vet and make sure there was nothing wrong with his heart or lungs. Kemosabe is so loved by all of you that I wanted to take you along with us. So we captured as much of the experience as possible with my phone and a camera crew. Here we go. I'm getting ready to take Kemosabe to the vet, so I'm going to get his crate and everything ready, and then get him in the crate and drive on in. To get Kemosabe into the vet clinic, he needed to go into a travel crate, and I wanted him as calm as possible, so we used the same crate that we use for our public presentations. He went in with ease. I covered up the crate for his comfort, and then I packed a few pairs of thick leather gloves just in case we needed them. So we made it to the vet, we're all checked in, we got moved to a nice quiet location. Kemosabe is pretty upset. He does not like going to the vet. When he gets his procedures done, we're usually at Animal Wonder so he can stay nice and comfortable, so he's not a happy camper right now. The longer we waited, the more nervous I became that his adrenaline was spiking, which meant that the sedative we normally would use to immobilize him might not be strong enough. A room finally opened up and we met Dr. Card for a quick rundown on why I decided to bring Kemosabe in. He does it when he's like partially awake, partially asleep, and so when I'm in the mornings, and I'll be cleaning for 2 hours, he'll probably cough like 5 to 10 times.
And is it a dry sound?
It sounds like a
wet sound? Okay, so a fairly deep sounding cough.
Deep, but it doesn't sound like it's productive at all.
And have you noticed any change in his activity level?
No, he's still super active.
Okay.
Like there's nothing else that would make me worried about him.
All right, well, I think our plan will be, we'll get a shot into him.
Okay.
Let him go to sleep.
Okay.
And then we'll get our pictures.
Nice.
And trim his teeth.
She agreed that we should get a chest x-ray, which would check for pneumonia in his lungs, any abnormalities in his heart, or a tumor in any of his internal organs. Kemosabe wouldn't voluntarily lay on his side and hold still for an x-ray, so we needed to sedate him. Most domesticated animals can be sedated with inhaled gas, given through a cone-shaped mask over their nose, but Kemosabe prefers not to be touched at all, so the only way to sedate him is with an injection into his thigh. Giving a porcupine an injection is challenging on a good day, but when they're on full alert because they're at the vet, it makes it that much more difficult. Dr. Card was eventually able to get the medication administered, and we prepared for quiet mode. The best chance of getting him to fall asleep was a quiet, calm space, so we hoped that he'd succumb to the sedative if we put him in the corner of a dimly lit room and waited. He's not down yet. He's trying to pull through it. We'll give him a couple more minutes. After 20 minutes, he still hadn't fallen asleep. As I'd feared, his adrenaline had already spiked too high, and he'd pushed through the sedation medication. Instead of giving him a second injection, which runs the risk of slowing his breathing or heart rate too much, we decided to try and use the inhaled gas given through the cone over his nose. We moved him into the x-ray room and took on the task of restraining an angry, yet groggy porcupine. Dr. Card made several attempts to get the mask over his nose, but Kemo was having none of it. He kept pushing the mask away with his hands and then turning around and showing off his quills. So I put on the leather gloves and reached into the crate. I found his arms and held onto his grasping hands. I raised them above his head, and Dr. Card was able to slip the mask over his nose. In just about a minute, Kemosabe was fast asleep. We were able to move him onto the table and get a few x-rays of his chest. We then checked the images, and Dr. Card explained that the x-rays looked cloudy because his quills caused some interference, but it was uniform enough that she could tell his lungs were clear. So no signs of pneumonia. She said his heart looked a little large, but the blood vessels looked healthy and there was no signs of masses in his chest or anywhere else in his body. His throat and mouth looked great too, so there was no obvious medical reasons for his coughing. While he was sedated, we took the opportunity to trim his nails and teeth and give him a full physical exam. Then Dr. Card took a blood sample to check for any hidden symptoms of infection. Finally, we weighed him, and just as he was starting to wake up, we got him back into the safety of his crate. Well, that went better than I thought. I mean, a couple hiccups here and there, just getting him sedated and stuff, but I'm so relieved that he doesn't have a tumor or anything like that, and heart looks good. I don't think it could have gone better. That's great. It's great news. So what was the cause of his coughing? Dr. Card discussed the possibility of an environmental irritant, like a new cleaning product or a new branch or type of wood. But there hasn't been any major changes in the last few months. To make sure we're doing everything we can to eliminate any environmental factors, we'll be doing a full replacement of all of his furniture in the coming weeks. I really like remodeling and creating new living spaces for the animals, so I'm really excited to see what we come up with. I also like that we're able to offer our animals medical care when they need it. Having a talented veterinarian nearby and the means to provide that care is priceless. So that was quite the adventure for Kemosabe. I just hope he doesn't stay upset with me for too long. I'll be offering him peace offerings in the form of bananas for quite some time, but it was totally worth it to make sure he was healthy. Thankfully, Kemosabe made it through this visit to the vet, and I'm happy to report that he now has a clean bill of health and he's no longer coughing. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Kemosabe only has one tooth left, but that doesn't stop him from eating his favorite fruits. In this next video, I give Kemosabe some fruit to enjoy while sharing the story of how he ended up with only one tooth. Be prepared, there are plenty of cute noises ahead. Okay, let's set up this experiment. I want to see how well Kemosabe can eat each of these fruits without my help. I'm just going to give them to him and see what happens. Like, here's a strawberry, buddy. It's all yours. So I really don't know what he's going to do with some of these because I've been helping him eat for so many years. I honestly haven't just let him try on his own. Are you going after the greens? Yeah? I like that he's trying. He's not making much progress on that strawberry, so let's see. Here. Blueberries? I know, you are making some progress. Look at you go. You got some. Nice work. You want to try blueberries now? Get it. Get it here. There you go. Give that a try. Now, when Kemosabe first came in, he had a tooth infection, which resulted in us having to pull a top incisor, which for rodents is a major health issue because they have ever-growing incisors. The problem was when we pulled that top incisor, he only had one on top and two on the bottom, and he could not rub them together, keeping them short on his own. So, good job, buddy. He squished that blueberry and he was able to munch it now. I think he's just working on getting the skin down. Does that taste good? I think he is proficient at eating blueberries. I think I'm gonna start putting blueberries around your home now and see you just forage for them. I think that'd be great. Yeah, you just went right for it. You know what? Since you're so good at blueberries, I think we should try another fruit. I think we should try giving him a grape and just see what he does with it. But just to be safe, I've cut it in half. I know that's helping him a bit, but I don't want him to accidentally swallow it whole. That would be bad. Get it over. He rejected this blueberry. Was it too hard? I think grapes are sweeter. You can have that one there too. Oh, you were so slimy. So once we pulled out that infected tooth, he did great for many years while we maintained the length of his teeth with quarterly tooth trims. Let's see, we've got a little progress there. Yeah. I'm not gonna take your grape, don't worry. He's chattering, or he's attempting to chatter right now because I am very close to him while he's eating his food, and he's being defensive of his food. He doesn't want me to take it. That one's a lot harder to eat, huh, buddy? Yeah, you're getting it though. You're mushing it up so you can munch it down. Can you say grape? That's almost grape. I don't know, maybe instead of banana, you're saying grape. That's banana, you're right. You heard me say banana. I love how he sits with his feet spread out like that. That is an adaptation that he uses to be able to climb up in trees. Instead of trying to walk toe over toe, he can just wrap his feet around. And I love how he looks like a little penguin a little bit, of course covered in spikes. He seems like he's enjoying the grape, but it feels like it takes him a long time to eat it. I don't know if he'd get frustrated, but he doesn't look frustrated to me. He seems like he's enjoying himself a lot. Would you like some more? You want to try something else? I think we should try pear next, but I don't know. It's kind of hard, and do you think he'll even be able to get through the skin? What do you think? Can you give it a try? Here you go. I know that's hard. Here, I actually have a softer pear that I've cut into. Would you like to try that? That one seems like a kind of a trick. A rotten tree. Here. You want to try that one? Yeah. Yeah. You got it. He was like, jackpot. All right, let's get back to the story. We trimmed his teeth every 3 months for years, and things were good. But about 2 years ago, Kemosabe began losing his molars to old age. And then his bottom incisors also began to have problems. We ended up having to remove both bottom teeth, which left him exactly one tooth. Right there on top. All right, buddy, I don't want you filling up on all pear because I have some more fruits to try. I want to try some watermelon, and again, I don't think it'd be fair to give him the whole watermelon. So I'm going to see if I can do a little swap and see if he can eat watermelon. Here, swap. Oh, good switch. Good, get it. It's like, whoa. Oh, where'd my pear go? Here. I don't think he likes watermelon. Are you gonna go back to this other pear here? I think that's a I don't like watermelon. Definitely. He'll even go after the Now I know. See, this is a great experiment. Now, because rodent incisors are deeply rooted, the hole in his gums left behind when his bottom teeth were removed collected and then harbored a strong bacterial infection that took over 10 months to clear up. Hi, you want this back here? This again? Yeah. But on a more serious note, it was a really scary time for all of us because even with 3 times daily mouth flushes, multiple medicines, and trips to the vet to have the area completely cleaned up, the infection just wouldn't go away. But I'm happy to report that on his last visit to the vet, he was given a clean bill of health. There is no sign of infection and his gums are completely healed over. So we've been celebrating Kemosabe's health and happiness every day since, which I think calls for a banana because everybody knows that's Kemosabe's favorite food. Though, I don't know, pear might be a contender. Let's get this out of the way and let's do a swap. You ready, bud? Like, don't you take my pear, boy. Here, I got this instead. Look, a banana in a Kemosabe mug. He struggled for so long to eat his favorite foods that it's just so good to see him enjoying himself now. Do you want some help with that? What do you think? Look, it's you with your banana. And you're even saying nom nom. It makes me so happy to see Kemosabe enjoying his favorite fruits. And I love how you can tell how happy he is by the little sounds that he makes. Oh, and if you like Kemosabe and want to represent his awesomeness, we have these Kemosabe print t-shirts in our store on dftba.com. I put a link in the description. Now, food isn't the only way to keep our little porcupine happy. I love thinking of creative ways to keep Kemosabe from getting bored, especially if they encourage him to do behaviors that he would normally do in the wild. So in our final video, I decided to make Kemosabe an obstacle course, and the grand prize was a delicious, squishy banana. Let's watch what happens. In the wild, prehensile tail porcupines would be climbing around in the trees, searching for food all night long, and it can be hard work. To keep him active, here you go, bud, and avoid boredom in his cushy life at Animal Wonders, we always hide his food all around his enclosure. So he's used to foraging for his food, but he's never done something to this scale. I'm putting the banana at the end of the hallway, so when he makes it all the way through, he'll get his much-deserved reward. Let's see how he does. Go, buddy, go! Can you smell the banana? Go get it. You can do it, buddy. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. Yeah, dude. Nice job. Go get your banana. Yeah, go get your banana. Did you enjoy that? And can you tell us about it? Your mouth is too full of banana. Yeah? Do you want to be left alone with banana now? Yeah? It's good? Okay, enjoy your banana. You're welcome. Kemosabe is just the best. I I hope you had as much fun as I did looking back on all the wonderful times we've had with our amazing porcupine. We have many more Kemosabe videos that we didn't feature here in this compilation. So if you'd like to see more Kemo, you can check out his playlist in the description below. It includes some older videos as well as recent ones, like this video in which we play a game with Kemosabe to see what kinds of household items he'll lick. Thanks for watching! If you'd like to see more compilations of your favorite animals at Animal Wonders, let me know who we should feature next in the comments below. And if you'd like to keep going on adventures with us every week, subscribe to Animal Wonders Montana, and I'll see you soon. Bye!